In 2003, English football witnessed a historic feat. Arsenal, led by a preternaturally talented Frenchman, became the first team to win the Premier League unbeaten. That man? Thierry Henry. That season, Henry was much more than just a goal scorer. He was the heart and soul of the Invincibles. With 30 goals and countless assists, his combination of speed, technique, and precision was unmatched. He seemed to play at a level above everyone else. In every game, Henry delivered something special. Impossible goals, bewildering dribbles, and game-changing decisions. For Arsenal fans, he was the hero who made dreams come true. For his rivals, he was a constant nightmare. Henry didn't just participate in a perfect season. He personified it. And in doing so, he immortalized his name in history as the true legend of the Invincibles. Highbury, Arsenal's footballing temple, was much more than just a stadium. For Thierry Henry, it was a stage where magic happened. It was there that he wrote unforgettable chapters of his story. With every touch, every dribble, and every goal, Henry transformed the Highbury pitch into a work of art. He didn't just play to win, he played to delight. At Highbury, he scored some of his most iconic goals. Goals that defied logic, like when he would sprint from midfield, leave defenders behind, and finish with the precision of a master. For fans, seeing Henry at Highbury was like watching an artist at the height of his inspiration. The connection between him and the stadium was unique, as if they were made for each other. Thierry Henry was not just Arsenal's greatest goalscorer. He was, and always will be, the king of Highbury. Thierry Henry wasn't just a goalscorer. He was a maestro, orchestrating Arsenal's attack with genius and precision. At his best, Henry didn't just score goals. He created them. His vision was astonishing, finding teammates in unlikely positions and leaving opponents speechless. In the 2002-03 season, he made history by leading both the Premier League's goal-scoring and assists charts, something never before achieved. It was as if he watched the game in slow motion, while everyone around him tried to keep up. For Henry, scoring wasn't enough. He wanted the whole team to shine. Every pass was a masterpiece. Every move a demonstration that football is about much more than numbers. It's art. At the start of his career, few could have predicted that Thierry Henry would become the giant he became. His career was marked by ups and downs, and in his first experience of European football, the Frenchman seemed lost. Before shining at Arsenal, Henry was rejected. He began his journey at AS Monaco, but it was at Juventus in Italy that he faced his first major challenge. Arriving at the Vecchia Signora in 1999, he was misplaced, playing as a winger. The experience was not a good one. Italian football was slow and tactical, and the young Henry did not adapt to the style of play. It was not long before he was loaned to Arsenal, where he would be rediscovered by Arsène Wenger, his former coach at Monaco. Wenger believed in Henry's potential and brought him back to the Premier League, where he was placed in the position where he would truly shine: center forward. It was there, under Wenger's tutelage, that he began to transform. With his speed, technique, and sharp mind, Henry left behind. He overcame the difficult times and found his place in world football. But for Henry himself, the beginning was painful. Rejection at Juventus made him question his abilities, and, for years, he set out to prove them wrong. His first major breakthrough came in 2002, when, under Wenger, he led Arsenal to the Premier League title, beginning to build the legend that everyone knew. Thierry Henry's talent, often underestimated, was not limited to his ability with the ball. His journey was one of overcoming obstacles, and each difficulty shaped him into a goal and assist machine. Football would never be the same after Henry found his way. After years of extraordinary achievements and a career marked by excellence, Thierry Henry not only entered Arsenal's history, but became an eternal part of the club. His connection with the fans was so deep that, after his departure, a gesture of admiration was needed to celebrate his greatness. In 2011, Arsenal did something few clubs in the world would do. They erected a statue in honor of their greatest icon. The image of Henry, kneeling before the fans in a memorable celebration in 2002, has been immortalized at the Emirates Stadium as a symbol of his greatness and a golden era at the club. The statue was not just a physical tribute, but a representation of the immeasurable impact Henry had on Arsenal. It wasn't just about goals or trophies. It was about the way he brought the team together. You, the fans, how his presence on the pitch transcended the 90 minutes of the game. For the fans, seeing Henry's statue was like having a piece of his soul within everyone's reach. Every time someone passed by it, it was impossible not to remember the magical moments. The goal against Tottenham, his unbridled run down the sidelines, and that unique feeling that, when Henry was on the pitch, anything was possible. More than a bronze statue, it became an immortal icon. Thierry Henry was not only Arsenal's best player. He was, and will always be, a living legend in the hearts of the fans, an eternal symbol of skill, passion, and dedication. Thierry Henry was not only an admired player. He was a true executioner for his rivals. During his time at Arsenal, he became the nightmare of clubs like Manchester United and Tottenham, always deciding the most important games brilliantly. If there was one characteristic that marked Henry, it was his ability to appear in the most decisive moments. When Arsenal faced Manchester United, especially in the 2001 to 2004 seasons, Henry was their main weapon. It was as if he was programmed to shine against the giants of English football. In one of Arsenal's most memorable victories, in 2002, Henry scored a spectacular goal against United, further cementing his place in the fandom. Against Tottenham, their biggest local rivals, it was the same story. Henry always stepped up when the derby was on the line, showing that, for him, these games meant more than just 3 points. One of the most iconic goals of his career came against Tottenham, where he sprinted from midfield, dribbled past defenders, and slotted the ball into the net. A goal worthy of a player who understood the grandeur of these clashes. For Arsenal fans, each victory against these rivals was confirmation that Thierry Henry was much more than a player. He was a leader, someone who knew what it meant to wear the club's shirt and beat the club's biggest enemies. Henry didn't just play to win trophies. He played to beat his rivals, and that made him even more special. Every time he scored against United or Tottenham, he wrote another page in the history of English football and solidified his position as one of the greatest of all time. When we talk about Thierry Henry, it's impossible not to mention his physical and technical abilities. He was a rare player, a true prodigy who combined speed and ball control in an almost supernatural way. Henry wasn't just fast. He had a lightning-fast acceleration that made him seem like he was in another category of athletes. When he started his run, it was like lightning. Henry's speed, combined with his skillful dribbling and ability to stay calm in front of defenders, was simply dazzling. His ability to control the ball at high speed left opponents lost, unable to follow him or predict his next move. When Henry was at his best, he seemed to be in tune with the ball in a unique way, touching it as if it were an extension of his own body. And the precision of his passes, impeccable. Even when he was closely marked, he was able to place the ball exactly where he wanted, whether to create a goal-scoring opportunity or to provide the perfect assist. At Arsenal, Henry not only scored wonderful goals, but also helped his teammates shine, showing a vision of the game that few others possessed. On the pitch, he was a spectacle, a mix of dazzling speed, refined technique, and footballing intelligence. Henry was the definition of a complete player, an athlete who broke barriers and, at the same time, enchanted everyone with his art. When Thierry Henry was on the pitch, football became something sublime. And the only thing that seemed to stop his run was the final whistle. Thierry Henry was not only a star for Arsenal. He was also a reference for French football and a landmark for the Premier League. His arrival at Arsenal in 1999 was the start of a French revolution in English football. Henry was the first of a generation of French players to grace the Premier League pitch, but his influence went beyond his presence. He brought not only his exceptional skill, but also a new vision of how football could be played in England. His technical style, combined with his speed and exquisite ball control, was something the English were not used to seeing on a large scale. He brought with him the French touch, a blend of technique and creativity that won over even the most skeptical of the Premier League. His rise at Arsenal paved the way for other French players such as Robert Pires, Patrick Vieira, and Cesc Fabregas, who soon followed in his footsteps, transforming the Premier League into a more technical and less physical spectacle. Henry was the bridge between two worlds, the more direct and physical style of the Premier League and the more technical and sophisticated football of France. Furthermore, his relationship with Arsène Wenger, who brought him from Monaco and molded him at Arsenal, reinforced this exchange of cultures, creating a team that had the hallmark of the French touch, but with the grit and determination typical of English football. Thierry Henry not only won the hearts of Arsenal fans, but also opened the doors for French football in a league that, until then, had not seen the talent of his generation so brilliantly. Despite being forever remembered as an icon of Arsenal and the Premier League, Thierry Henry's legacy extends far beyond England. The Frenchman left his mark on many other arenas, proving that his talent knew no bounds. After leaving Arsenal, Henry moved to Barcelona in 2007, where he continued to dazzle the world with his skill and vision. Alongside stars such as Lionel Messi, Xavi, and Andrés Iniesta, he won the coveted UEFA Champions League in 2009, completing a cycle of great achievements in his career. The triumph in Europe was the crowning achievement of a player who, although he had already won acclaim in several championships, now added one of the most prestigious titles in world football to his collection. But Henry's success was not restricted to club football. In 1998, he was part of the French team that won the World Cup, giving his career an even more special shine. His skill, his calmness in decisive moments, and his intelligence on the game contributed immensely to France's historic achievement. 2 years later came Euro 2000, further cementing his status as one of the world's greatest players. His years with the French national team were not only marked by titles, but also by the leadership and inspiration he represented to his teammates. Henry was the example of how talent and dedication can lead to great victories, and his presence in international competitions nationales brought France to the global stage. Even after leaving the Premier League, Henry continued to show the world why he is considered one of the greatest of all time, with his skill set intact and his ability to win trophies at the highest level. Although Thierry Henry has hung up his boots, his legacy in football will never fade. His story is not limited to his achievements and goals, but to the profound impact he had both on and off the pitch. After retiring from the game, Henry turned his attention to new challenges, embarking on a career as a coach and commentator, but most importantly, as a mentor to the next generation of players. His keen eye and experience have made him a respected voice in world football. The passion he demonstrated on the pitch is now reflected in the way he shares his knowledge with young talent. But Henry's legacy extends beyond the pitch. He is a cultural icon, a figure admired across the world, who has inspired generations of fans and athletes to follow in his footsteps. What he represented on the pitch, his way of transforming every move into something special, is still revered by millions. At Arsenal, he remains a reference figure, with his statue immortalized at the Emirates Stadium, symbolizing his invaluable contribution to the club. As one of the greatest players in the history of football, Thierry Henry not only built a successful career, he built a legion of admirers. The way he played, the elegance of his movements, and the passion with which he wore the shirts of Arsenal, Barcelona, and the French national team transformed him into a global legend. And even after his retirement, Thierry Henry continues to be a central figure in the world of football, not only as a former player, but as a mentor, commentator, and symbol of excellence. His legacy is immortal, and his story will never be forgotten. If you like this incredible story, leave a like and comment below which player you would like to see the full story about him here. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We will be back soon with many more exciting stories. Thank you all.